Hello everyone. It's 6 now, so I'll just give a 5 minute grace for people to join and then we'll start at 6:05. Hello, good evening everyone. How have you all been? Can you see the screen? Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. Okay, tell me how have all of you been doing in the last 1 week since we met? Did you do the assignments? How was it? I would like anyone, if they can turn on their mic and speak about it. I would really like this class to be interactive. Good evening.
Yes, ma'am, I have been doing the assignments, and while doing the assignments, ma'am, am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
Huh.
Yes, yes.
And while doing the assignments, I realized that yes, the flow does breaks out. That one day you remember to be thoughtful in doing your basic activities, and second day you forget, and in the middle of the doing of that activity you realize that you have to be thoughtful of doing it, you have to pay attention how you are moving your hand and stuff. Yes, walking one was a little difficult for me. 10 minutes focusing on your legs and going step by step, it's a little difficult. It does distract me because generally I walk with music on, so yes.
Okay, okay. Thanks for sharing. So I think this is the first thing that we'll do today is a bit of reflection of how the last 2 weeks have been and how the last 2 weeks assignments went, right? I'm sure it's not easy, but yeah, I would like to know your opinions about it. How did all of you feel? If anything that you would like to put across, anything that you would like to share, anything that you noticed which you did not before. Most of these exercises brings out those parts. I would like to know. If you want to even write it in the chat box, you can. I would really love if people can talk about it. Unmute yourself and talk about it. Anyone who would like to talk about it? Well, then, have you been doing the assignments?
Yes, ma'am. I'm also doing the assignments.
Yes,
The
yes.
walking one was really nice. I have done this before also, and the experience was very nice. And also for the mindfulness activity, I tried an activity to put my full attention while making my bed. It was a good experience. One First 2 days was very distracting because it was an activity like I have never done this before, putting my attention while doing my bed and focusing on these things. But slowly and gradually I started noticing little things like the texture of my bed sheet, the colors around my room, and how to fold my quilt, and all these things. I started focusing on these things, and slowly and gradually I started enjoying it. So I'm continuing this activity.
Right,
So
right. Did you notice new things? Yeah, yeah, please continue, please.
in the first few days, it was not not very much enjoying, but slowly and gradually, I started developing like the senses to notice the things. How was my bed sheet? How was the color of my pillow? Like these things. So it relaxes my mind, and I felt very good after doing these things. So all over the experience was very nice.
Mm. Okay, okay, that's great. Other than that, did you notice new things about the very ordinary things that happens with us every day, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes. Thank you for sharing. Thanks a lot. Anyone else? Okay, there are okay, messages I can see in the chat box.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes, yes. Good
This is
evening.
Selvaraj. Good evening. One thing is very nice to get this new experience of going through this assignments. One thing is while doing it, we are able to realize that I am how much forgetful daily activities, doing things regularly, and doing these assignments makes us to realize that one thing. And secondly, also doing it sometimes, as one person remark that we are forgetful or skipped certain things every day. We're not able to do it regularly. So that is also able to realize it. And this walking also is a kind of an exercise which is kind of real frightened sometimes while doing it. While walking it with blindfolded or doing that exercise. So one thing is not regularly not able to do it, but it trying to do that assignment. One doubt is that every day you told us to write a reflection. Sometimes it's repetitive. Is it we have to do that same thing, or can we also do it a consolidated reflection? Is it possible?
Yes, yes, of course. The reason why I asked all of you to do it like every day is because sometimes I think uh, in the first few days things can be very distracting and it can be difficult for you. But if you look, if 5 days down the line, on the sixth day, if you write it down and then if you look back, if you read what you wrote, right, maybe it will also help you to see your growth, right? That's the reason I asked if and it's okay if it is repetitive sometimes, right? Our
Okay.
brain is wired in one way, okay, and it would take us time to change it, okay. One thing that I want to ask you here is how was, I think in the first class we did talk about attitudes, the attitudes or the way, the qualities of mindfulness. Did you see yourself judging, because of some days you not being able to do it, or you missing those things, or maybe your mind wandering, as simple as that? And this is not a question just to you but to everyone, did you judge yourself? Because often we are very unkind to ourselves. So yeah, that's there. What do you think about? Yeah.
That's true. Sometimes I said no. We forget things which I'm supposed to do, or realize to be mindful of what I'm supposed to do. Realizing that just wondering and other things, even the assignment also what want to do consciously. After doing that, only I realize that, oh, I skipped it. I didn't realize what I was doing, and sometimes kind of judging myself. So I'm distracted or thinking something else while doing one thing. That's able to realize it.
Yeah, yeah, right. And also, I would encourage all of you to, not be judgmental about, if a few days you can't do it or something comes up, or sometimes your mind wanders. I mean, we as human beings, our mind is such that it will wander, right? So maybe not try to judge it. That will definitely help to be more, bring non-judgmental practice into the flow, right? So there is a question I will Amreen Siddiqui has asked the question. I will answer yours as well. There are two experiences in the chat box, okay. For the walking one, this is by Jasmine Dakhel. If sorry if I am mispronouncing it, let me know, okay. For the walking one, initially, I felt like I had to rush through it. In my mind, it felt more like a task to complete. Yes, I absolutely get that. I had to consciously remind myself to slow down, tell myself to notice things. I think I had a pause to take a deep breath to really focus on the activity. Once I focused, I was able to notice my muscles relaxing and easier for me to actually pay attention to my surroundings. Okay, Alka Jobi is saying that, ma'am, the activity which I focused was on mindful eating. Okay, I could feel the taste and flavor of food. I felt more taste to food than I ate. Okay, I felt more taste to food than I ate. I used to eat food by scrolling through phone. We do that. I think a lot of us do, while watching TV. I myself do it. So yeah. And during that times, I never focused on the taste at all. Yes. Through mindful eating, that was a great experience for me. Yes, yes. Thank you for sharing. I think Sagarika Banerjee raised her hand in between. Would you like to share anything, ma'am?
Hello,
Yes, yes, please.
can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, yes.
really, when we get up in the morning, usually we don't pay attention to the activities we are doing every day. But after the session, when the I started doing the assignment, I realized there are so many sensations in the morning, like getting up and putting your feet on the floor and feeling it, or watering the plants, watching them carefully, or brushing your teeth, mindfulness. These are different type of. It has a different type of feeling when we do it like mindfully. Otherwise, we do it as a routine work. Like anyhow, we just brush our teeth, we just run here and there to complete our work. Now, when everything I'm doing it mindfully, it is like
Yeah.
giving a different type of I should say, fulfillment uh, to me. So I loved it. Yeah, second session I missed. So I will do the assignment and I will just share my experience in the next class. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much for sharing. Right. Okay, so I wanted to focus on a few things here before we go to the actual part of what we would do today. Of course, the reflection is part of the session, of course, right? So one of the things is that a lot of people message me asking about what to do with the assignments and what to do with the classes that you have missed. Okay, so first thing is that in case of assignments, when all the classes of the course or the foundation course, mindfulness foundation course is finished, then I think you guys might have seen the message that there will be three instructors. Okay, so I am the first instructor. There are two instructors after me who would be doing the classes. Okay. So for me particularly, once the course has finished, you will mail the assignments to me. Okay. In a PDF format, you will mail the assignments to me. Do not send it to me in my WhatsApp. Do not mail to me right now. Once everything is finished, then you mail. Okay. So you will get something like 1 or 2 weeks to send the assignments. Okay, so that there it is. Okay, the second one is recordings and the classes that you have missed. Okay, now I want to ask that it is not possible for us to send the recordings for each day to so many participants. Okay, so unfortunately what we would have to do is once the course is finished, then only we will be able to send all the recordings through mail. Okay, but if you have missed the classes, and I do get it that if you make miss in the second class, the third class or the fourth class might not make sense to you so much, right? So do you think that it would be helpful if I send the PPT, because it has a lot of details more or less? Do you think that you would like if I send you the PPT in the WhatsApp group, the first and the second and this last PPT as well? If you want me to send it, okay, okay, right. Uh, okay, does everyone agree here that you want me to send the PPT? Then I will send it to you. Okay. Okay, great. So I think there are a lot of people who wants it. Okay, so I will definitely send the PPT to you in the WhatsApp so that you uh, the recording, so you will get later, but at least you can give it a look whatever we discussed in the in the class. Okay, so that's there it goes. Okay, the third thing that I want to discuss today is that I do get it that sometimes the theory part or the things that I am reading, okay, or what I am saying, if you don't want me to read, that's okay, but in spite of that, the theory part needs to be understood, because mindfulness is not just a practice. It is, yeah, it's a hands-on practice. You need to feel it, you need to practice it, you need to do it, but at the same time there are a lot of underpinnings which you need to understand when it comes to the attitude or the qualities of mindfulness. If you don't know what the benefits are of mindfulness, it can be very difficult to even make sense. Why am I even doing it? Right? So those are the spaces and those are the things that I need to cover. Okay. So I get it. It might feel boring, and maybe many of you, haven't, sat and maybe read a lot of things or gone through a lot of theory. I get it for the longest time, but I need to do it, right? And I think in every session, I always incorporate some hands-on training where we are doing some sort of mindfulness activity to make you feel and make you understand how the whole thing is. So with that, we will start today. Okay, so I'll just read what are the table of contents. We don't have a lot of things today to do, right? But there are three tools that we will talk about. Okay, and we will do it in the session as well to understand how you're feeling. Okay, so the first one is cultivating mindfulness. Okay, we in the first one, on the first and the second class, we did talk about what is mindfulness, why is it important, what are the benefits, what are the attitudes or what are the qualities of mindfulness. Today we'll talk about how to cultivate mindfulness. Okay, what are the steps? Okay, now there are these steps that I have jotted down. I would like to know what you think about it. Okay, the second one is cultivating mindfulness tools. Okay, so then we'll talk about the tools. Okay, and then we'll talk about assignment and of course a small reflection. Okay, so before starting, I would really like to know that how are all of you trying to incorporate these assignments? These assignments are essentially mindfulness techniques or exercises that all of you are doing. So, how do you think you have incorporated mindfulness in your everyday life, or even if you're doing it 3 or 4 days a week, that's okay as well. But how do you think you have incorporated before going into what I feel or what I say, right? I would really like to know what you feel about it. Would anyone like to talk about it? It's okay if you even type it out. But I would of course encourage if someone can speak about it. How do you cultivate mindfulness in your everyday? Would anyone like to speak? Yes.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, Rohan, tell
Yeah.
me.
So like usually, whenever I'm making coffee, I try to be more attentive to the smell that is that is it's giving out, and then when I look at the water, the coffee beans settling down in the water slowly. So watching each bean, like each piece of the bean settling down, and just taking in the aroma and trying to just taking in the whole let's say activity or the situation. Yeah, I,
Right. Okay. So do you, is there anything that you follow or anything that you do especially to, remind yourself that I, need to do some mindfulness activity today, or I need to be mindful about, maybe just one activity.
so something to remind myself. So, it's been a quite a while
Something,
since I have. Hello.
yeah.
So it's been quite a while that I've been trying to practice. So
Mm,
basically just uh, starting as soon as I realize that this is something I have to do, I want to do. So I just then there are no particular instruments or reminders. Just as soon as I realize that uh, this is the moment where I have to be mindful, then I just try to proceed with it and try as much as I can.
okay, okay, great. Thank you, Rohan, for sharing your experience. Yes, yes, Sagarika Banerjee, right? Would you like to speak?
Yeah, like here I am just sharing my personal experience that I take these
Sure.
mindful activities for like small things. I don't like aim to do that mindful. Like I should be mindful for whole of the morning for 3 hours or 4 hours. I break it down in a small activity, like while sipping my cup of tea or while I'm in my garden. So small pieces I make. Like now, when I'm in garden for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I will be mindful of my all the activities, whatever I'm doing. I'm walking on the grass, how I'm feeling it. And then maybe I go back to some other work. And then again, when I sit and I have a sip of a cup of tea, then I am again mindful. So it is like easy for me to break it into small parts and then do it instead of going
Okay.
like to be a mindful for a whole day or a 2 3 hours. So this is
Right,
my
right.
experience, and this is what I feel is a better way.
So you break it down into smaller parts, right?
Yes,
That is
smaller
what works
parts.
for you.
Huh.
Mm.
Like when I'm very new to this practice, so this becomes like
Yes,
it makes
yes.
it easy for me to handle it.
Mm.
So I don't get bored. Ki whole time I have to be mindful.
Yes, yes, yes. Agreed, agreed. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing experience. Yes. Yes. Okay. Tanvi Bajaj has said, I have gradually incorporated being mindful while eating my meals every day. Okay. So that is, whenever you are eating, maybe that is a reminder that I need to be mindful about whatever I'm eating. Okay, right. Okay. So I think now I'll talk about the steps. Okay, and I would like to know your thoughts about these steps as well. Okay. So the first thing here, what I've noted down is setting aside some time. You know, and having modest goals, right? I think what Sagarika ma'am just said, that doing small things, since our brain is wired in a very different way, where we are, the world is so fast paced. We are sitting with the phone, we are scrolling, and all of these things are somehow making us very restless. It is nowadays not only for adults but for children, for even old people who have phones in their hand. I think it's very difficult for all of us to be still, or to sit down and really be here in the present moment. Human beings in general have a, our mind has a wandering nature, which I have, it's talked about many times. So we always think about the past, we regret about the past, we think about the future. So even though our body is here, our mind is not here. So to change that neural process in our brain is quite a thing, okay? And that would mean that it is going to take time. And if you start with, okay, for half an hour I'll do mindfulness, it might be difficult. So breaking it down into modest goals, doing small things might really help you to achieve that goal, okay, little by little, right? And of course, second thing here is setting aside time, okay? Maybe sometimes it helps if you set aside some time, if you have a more leisurely day, maybe in the morning, or maybe while coming back from office, in the bus, in the train. I have personally told a few of my clients to when they come back from their office, there is a good 40 minutes or 1 hour of time and they're just sitting, they're doing nothing, right? They're just sitting and scrolling through their phones. Other than doing that, if they can incorporate being mindful, just noticing your surrounding, noticing your body after a full day of working, how is your body feeling, right? And there is also a very mind body disconnection that is there, for all of us, which can be rebuilt if you are present in the here and now. Okay, but setting aside some time might help. What time works for you better? Morning, evening, night, whatever it is, right? I'll just read it out as well. Mindfulness is easy to practice but not so easy to master. Yes, doing it a few days and doing it for a long time where you master it is definitely a bit difficult thing. When you're first trying to be more mindful, it may be difficult to be mindful for more than a few seconds at a time. So for all of you who have problems in doing it, I would say it's okay, right? It can be even for a few seconds, maybe for 10 seconds you're mindful and then your mind starts wandering. That happens to all of us. We are just starting with it, okay? Your mind will naturally wander. That's okay. Little by little, a few seconds will become several seconds, and then a minute, and then multiple minutes, right? So believe in yourself and hold on to yourself is what I would say. The next one is focus on physical sensations. Starting with informal practice can be helpful. I think also the assignments that I gave, they were all informal practices. Going for a walk is not a sitting mindfulness meditation that you are doing. Going for a walk, when you're eating, being mindful during that. When you're gardening, being mindful during that time, or just being mindful about the physical sensations that you're experiencing right now can be a great way to start the practice for sure, right? So, even as simple things as I've written down, washing your hands, okay, focus only on what you are doing. How does the hand feels, when when you put your soap, when you're putting the water, how does it feel? So, you can start with physical sensations. Starting with informal practice can really help you to get the hang of it and really make you understand, that it's world the world around us can be very different if you are curious enough, if you look at it, right? I mean, if you own a jug or if you own something for a long time, you might, when you start doing mindfulness, you might see new things in those things as well, which you did not before. Yes. Observe the present moment as it is. The aim of mindfulness is not quieting the mind or attempting to achieve a state of eternal calm. So, I think a lot of people take it as, the constant cacophony of things or voices in your mind will go, they will become quiet once you start being mindful, right? um, that is a side effect of mindfulness, but that is not what we are aiming for, right? When we are present in the moment, we shift our we shift our focus, we shift our spotlight from the future or the past, and we shift our spotlight to here and now. Okay? And as a result, the mind becomes quiet. But that's not the goal. The goal is simple. We are aiming to pay attention to the present moment without judgment. Of course, easier said than done. We know, right? But yeah, I mean, that is one of the ways to go through it and practice it, right? And as a side effect, you will see that your mind is becoming more quiet. But many of the times I have noticed that when we start paying attention to here and now, we do also start paying attention to our wandering mind. And sometimes things before becoming better can get worse. You might feel agitation, you might feel anger, you might feel judgmental towards, like, oh, it's working with everyone, but it's not working with me, it's just not my thing. So those are the things, those are the phases that we can go through where we are, not being able to adapt to that because we are judging, right? The next one is watch but don't engage. I think I gave an example in the first class that mindfulness can be something like, you sitting just beside the window and letting the cars pass by, okay, and you just stare at the cars. You don't try to judge what color is it, what shape is it from a good company, is it a German company, is it an Indian company, is it an England company? No, nothing, right? So watch but don't engage. So our thoughts can be an eternal river or flow. There's constantly that flow going on, right? Can you just observe it and not engage? Can you just watch it and not engage and let yourself, uh, you know, go with that thought? Most of the times, if you look at it, whether it comes to anxiety, whether it comes to depression, whether it comes to, overthinking, as simple as that, we often let ourselves get, you know, we flow with the thought. We get lost with the thought. We buy into what our mind is telling us. Whereas mindfulness is watch but don't engage. There will be a lot of thoughts going on, but watch them. Don't engage with them. Right? That's virtually impossible. You know, the goal, sorry, I just missed a sentence. The goal to eliminate all distracting thoughts. I think mindfulness for a lot of people, they feel like all the distracting thoughts will eliminate. They will vanish. My anxiety will vanish. My negative thinking, overthinking will vanish. No, it will not. That's virtually impossible. Instead, you are developing the skill to seeing your thoughts without latching onto them. Essentially, what I said. You don't flow with them, you don't buy into them, you don't believe what your mind is saying all the time. Just let it flow. Okay. The next one is be kind to your wandering mind. As I said, we human beings, we are one of the very few species who has this wandering mind. We think about the future, we think about the past, and that is that comes with our intelligent mind as well. Unfortunately, yeah. But in mindfulness, you need to be kind to this wandering mind. When you're starting off with a practice, your mind will always wander, and that's okay. Don't judge yourself for whatever thoughts crop up. Practice recognizing when your mind has wandered off and just gently bring it back. Okay, there's a term called mental proliferation. Okay, and that essentially means that one thought always leads to other thought, right? When you are latching on to one thought, let's say that you are just sitting with a cup of tea that someone made for you, right? And it doesn't taste good. You think about it doesn't taste good, and then you think about maybe from where you bought that milk, or from when you appointed the maid, or if your mother is making it for you or your husband is making it for you, you try to think that, oh, he never or she never makes it nicely, or why did it turn out to be so bad today? I'm already having a bad day. And then you start thinking about the day, right? So if you can see, it's like a joining the dots. One thing is leading to another, and there is a web of thoughts that is going on in your head all the time. Okay, that is wandering mind. Okay, where we are getting where we're thinking about far off things, right? So don't judge yourself for whatever crops up when you're having when you're trying to build a mindfulness practice. Practice recognizing when your mind is wandering off. When you recognize, just bring it back. No judgments. Okay, no, being kind, right? Let your judgments roll by and practice acceptance. Acceptance is, I think, one of the key words here. It's normal to judge our experiences. We do it all the time. If you look back, let's right now think about our whole day. What what happened in the whole day? I remember right now that while I was coming back from a trip in the morning today, I was about to leave my tab on the train, and there was my mom's friend who was there. She pointed it out that, oh, you left it here, right? And that is when I judged myself, right? So I think we all do that all the time, and that is that essentially makes it so difficult for all of us to switch that judgment off when we are practicing mindfulness. So practicing acceptance is very, very important. It's very normal to judge our experiences. Like I've given here, the water isn't warm enough. Your shoes are a little too tight as we walk, etc. Maybe the tea was not good, good enough. Unfortunately, judging often leads us down the path to other distracting thoughts. As I talked about mental proliferation, often judgment, often overthinking about it will create a web of thought patterns in your mind, which will surely not bring any calm to you. Maybe it is of no use as well, it is unhelpful for you, but still you do it. So mindfulness practice will help you to bring yourself back to here and now and be here and now, where as a side effect, you will feel more calm, you will feel more present, right? I would like to know, what are your thoughts about it? We will then go to the tools. There are three tools that we'll talk about. But before that, what are your thoughts about it? Do you think it resonates with you, or do you want to add anything? That is also. Yes, someone has raised a hand. Please.
Ma'am, can you type that term in the chat box, mental, because I'm not able to make out the second word, mental, after what is it?
Hmm. Proliferation. I will try. I will. Wait. I'll just do it right now. I will also talk about it in the next class in details, right? But yes, mental proliferation. Yes, I have. I have written it down in the chat box. Yes. Anything else that you would like, any of you would like to add? Anything you feel would, help you, or anything that you did not find helpful in the, steps that I shared? Anything that you would like to mention? I'm all yours, please.
Like you said that we have to practice mindful activities. So when I brush and when my mind start wandering around, so I bring my mind back to the focusing of brushing activity, how I'm brushing my teeth, and but with that I also start to recall or memorize what I have to do for the day, like what all things I have to do at school, I have to bring to the notice of someone, what messages are to be sent. Is it fine, or is it like again, like doing not only just focusing on brushing activity, but again putting your mind into something else?
Yeah, yeah. I think there is no, right or wrong here, right? But what I would say is that this is again your mind wandering about the future. You're thinking about what will you do in the whole day, and you're thinking about what will you do in the school or this and that, right? That is again your mind rather going in the future, okay? And that also is a thing when we start worrying, okay, will I get the bus on the right time? Will I be able to do this work on the right time? Will I be able to say this to the teacher? So those brings up the memories, memories and worries at the same time, right? So that can be, that is not mindfulness, is what I would say, okay? So bringing yourself back to eating or mm, brushing, that essentially means that you brush your teeth, okay? And I think, one thing that all of you can do is that rather than trying to do one activity for a series of days, why don't you change it? Do it, as I gave an assignment that, do one activity like brushing your teeth for the first 5 6 days, right? The next time, change it, okay? Change it to maybe eating, right? That way, I think you will be able to experience informal mindfulness in a lot of spaces in your life, okay? You can still continue to do it while brushing, but you can do it in other times, you can do it in other activities as well. So if you feel that you are getting bored because we are just starting off with this, so these are the ways that you can tweak your experience of it to make it more, fulfilling, or maybe, something that you look forward to, something which is not repetitive for you also, right? Would anyone like to say anything more? I would like to hear. If there is nothing, then yes, yes, please. Yes, Rohan, please.
So there are times when when I'm trying, but maybe it's my anxiety or something else that is very let's say overwhelming or overpowering. So it becomes difficult to
Hmm.
let that go and like not follow the trail of thoughts. Like I would like, what can be done about it? I'm still confused about that.
Hmm. Okay, yeah, I think for this, these things also only I have, made these three tools that we'll talk about. Okay, so when it comes to anxiety, or when it comes to, other mental health conditions, it can be difficult to not follow that trail of thought, right? Especially when we are starting off with mindfulness practice. So that is the reason itself that I have, now I will do these three tools. Okay, we'll practice these three tools, and then you can incorporate this in your daily lifestyle whenever you are feeling overwhelming. That the overwhelm, first of all, the overwhelming is it's an umbrella term. What are the emotions that you're feeling is something that you need to really understand. There can be 20 emotions that you're feeling at the same time, so you need to understand that first, and then you can do other things to deal with it. What is causing it is also something. Okay, there are some people who there are some people who worry a lot. Okay, so for those people as well, you can do these small small things to come back to here and now. Okay.
Yes, thank you. That makes a lot of sense.
Yes, yes, right. So I will do these tools right now with all of you. Yes, Kamakshi Gupte, right? She's asking any tips while traveling. Can you tell me more about it? Tips while traveling. I mean, how to practice mindfulness while traveling. If that is your question, perhaps to drive. Yeah, yeah, it can be. I think if you are not a new driver, right? If it is not the first time you're driving, scooty or car or whatever it is, maybe you can try to be more mindful. I think it is such an activity. If you're doing it for the first time, you have to be more mindful. You need to mind your surroundings, right? But if you are not new, I would still like you to when you're going out, try to be more mindful about your surroundings, what's going on, rather than thinking about what happened in the home today. What will I do when I go back? You can think about what is happening around me at this moment as I go through this journey, as I drive through this road. What's going on around me? Is there something new? And mindfulness also means looking at things through a curious lens, as noticing it for the first time. So maybe you'll see new things that, maybe you're going through the same road every day, but maybe you'll see new things when you are driving a scooty or car or whatever it is, right? Maybe just being present and being there. Okay. Yes, no problem. You're always welcome. Right. Okay. So first we'll do the mindfulness technique grounding. Okay. I think a lot of you would know about grounding. I'll just read it out. Okay. Grounding and mindfulness is a technique that helps people return to the present moment and focus their attention. Essentially what the goal is here. Okay. So what we will do today is we'll do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 mindfulness technique. I think a lot of you might already know about it, but I don't know how often we do it on ourselves. So let's do it. Okay. At the same time, I would ask all of you to write down your mood. Let's do a mood check-in. Okay. Write down your mood from 0 to 10. How are you feeling right now? Okay. In terms of maybe calmness or restlessness, or however you would like to. Okay, from 0 to 10, write it down. You can write it down in the chat box, you can write it down in a piece of paper in front of you. You can write it down anywhere you want. We'll do a mood check in after we are done with all of this. Okay, so I'll give you, maybe 30 seconds to do a mood check in and then we'll start the grounding exercise. Okay, so I hope all of you are ready. Okay, yes. Just give me a moment. I will just. Okay. So what is the technique all about? For those who do not know, okay, I'll just tell. I know maybe a lot of you does, but I would have to say this. Okay. Using 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique, you will purposefully take in the details of your surroundings using each of your senses. So we have 5 senses, and we'll use each of those senses to bring us back to our surroundings. Okay, and being mindful about it. Strive to notice small details that your mind would usually tune out, such as distant sounds or the texture of a very ordinary object. Okay, so let's all close our eyes for a moment and take a deep breath and take a few deep breaths, trying to be here and now. And then you can open your eyes when you're ready. And then look for five things you can see around you. Look for small details such as patterns on the ceiling, the way the light reflects on a surface, or an object you never noticed. In your mind, say out loud maybe five things. You can write it in the chat box as well. Five things that you can notice right now. Now, once you're done, you can close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. You can open your eyes when you're ready. Now, can you notice any four things that you can feel in your body, like the sensation of the clothing on your body, or the feeling of the chair where you are sitting? Maybe if you have any object around you, pick it up. Try to feel it, the texture, the weight, the physical qualities. Think about it, and if you can write it down or say it out loud in your mind, maybe. Four things that you can touch and feel. Now we'll move on to the next one. What are the three things that you can hear right now? Just pay a little more attention to the sounds your mind has tuned out. Maybe the ticking of the clock, maybe some distant traffic, or maybe someone listening to something in your house. Three things that you can think about. Three things that you can hear right now. Again, maybe write it down or point it down and just make a note of it in your head. Now the next one. What are the two things that you can smell right now in this moment? Try to notice smells in the air around you, air freshener or some incense sticks, maybe some flower or anything at all. You may also look for something which has a scent. If you have flower in your house somewhere, or you have a scented candle, or anything. Just two things that you can smell right now in this present moment, being here. You can write it down or make a note in your head. And the last one, what is the one thing that you can taste right now? Is there anything that you can taste? Maybe some candy or some snack that you ate in the evening, or just maybe something that, maybe the taste of your saliva, even, or water that you've had. Anything that you can focus on right now at this moment. Just one thing that you can taste. You want to write it down or make a note in your mind. That's it. So we are done with the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. And a quick way to remember when you're having anxiety or when you're experiencing certain upheaval of emotions is, sometimes, holding your hand, and there are these five senses, and each finger represents one sense. And, this touch can also bring you back to here and now in this moment when you do, one. And, the five senses. Okay, the fifth finger might be, five things that you can see right now, four things that you can touch right now. You know, it can also help you to bring back from your trail of thoughts that you are, latching yourself onto. So, those are some good ways to incorporate this in your every day, and it will make you feel more calm and maybe in the present moment, right? Okay. So, according to the three tools, first tool we have discussed, we've done it. Okay. The second tool is the three P's. Okay, which is a very simple one. It's nothing, too much. Okay. So it's a very simple tool that you can practice. The three P's. Okay. First one means pause. Second one means presence. Third one means proceed. Okay. Okay, let's do it right now and see how it works for all of you. Again, we can do the same thing. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Take a pause. Stop. Drop in. Notice this present moment at this point of time. The next one, presence. Drop in. Being aware of what is happening in the moment. What are the body sensations that you are noticing? Do you notice any thoughts running in your mind? Any judgments, any boredom, any feelings, any emotions that is coming up? Let's be present, staying present with acceptance, with whatever arises, just as it is moment by moment. Try not to react, try not to latch yourself onto it, but just be here in this moment. And the third one, proceed, using mindful speech and action to respond skillfully, compassionately, and with positive intention to whatever needs attention in the moment. In a difficult situation, this might help you to proceed in a helpful way. If you've closed your eyes, you can open your eyes and proceed with your daily life. or your usual day. Just trying to do what is more helpful for you with more compassion, being there for you, trying to understand if you are trailing off with thought, it might not be helpful for you. Proceed with what works for you. Giving you a few moments to calm yourself down and be here and now. This can be really helpful if you are getting caught up in a lot of thoughts. Okay, so I'll just give you one moment and then we'll do this three-step mindfulness technique. Drink some water if you want to. Just take a break. Okay, so let's start with this. It's called the three-step mindfulness exercise. A useful activity when formal mindfulness practice might not be practical. It is designed to be versatile and you can use it, anytime you want. There are basically three steps here, okay? And you can use it at any point of the day. Now, you can just close your eyes, breathe in and breathe out, pause, just take a pause, take a comfortable, relaxed, but upright posture wherever you're sitting, and breathe. Inhale and exhale. What thoughts come up in your mind? What feelings come up in your mind? Give them your attention and acknowledge these natural experiences that you're having right now. Then let them pass. Attune yourself to who you are and your current state right now. And now become aware of your breath. How does your body move with each breath in and out? How does your chest rise and fall as you let air in? Feel how your belly pushes in and out, how your lungs expand and contract. Find the pattern of your breath and anchor yourself to the present with this awareness for 6 breaths or up to a minute. And now let your awareness spread outward, first to your body, then to your surroundings. What physical sensations are you experiencing right now? Note feelings like tightness, aches, or lightness. Then let go of them. Keep in mind your body as a whole, as a vessel for your inner self. Expand your awareness outward to your surroundings. Bring your attention to what is in front of you. What colors, shapes, and textures can you notice? Be present in this moment, in your awareness of your surroundings. And this brings us to the ending of this technique as well. Maybe bring yourself back to this meeting, this class, in the present moment. And if you can, write down your mood, from 0 to 10. How are you feeling now? Compare it with how it was before. I would really like if you can put it up in the chat box. I would be able to see it then. Anyone who would like to talk about how you're feeling right now? Anyone who would like to speak about it? How was the experience for all of you? We discussed 3 tools today. How was it? Was it calming? How difficult was it? Please, I would like to know how it was. Yeah.
It was relaxing, but yes, I do get distracted by my overthinking
That's
thoughts.
yeah, yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, that happens. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, Ashwin, I think, sometimes, as I said, things can get worse before it gets better, right? So, yeah, I think, in your case, I would really want, or I would really suggest if you can do small, small, because we did three at one go, right? You can just do one of them, okay? And it is also an attitude of not letting yourself lash onto it, okay? Right. Okay. Refreshing, Kamakshi, Krishna, okay, right. Okay, so I think we're done with. I would like to know, of course, discuss how difficult is it to sit still? What are your thoughts about doing the exercise? You try to judge or push away any thoughts or emotions? Yes. Did you try to judge or push away any thoughts or emotions? Anything difficult that you are feeling that you wanted to push away, judging yourself for not being able to do something. Yes, please, Rohan.
So for a lot of time, I like as I was getting more relaxed, I there was this sense of sleepiness, drowsiness, as if I'm falling asleep. So I
Mm.
tried to resist that.
Yeah, okay, okay, right. This is your body and your mind telling you that you are tired, right? I think that is the reason you are feeling so, if not physically tired, but mentally tired of how restless your mind is. Um, all the time, right? So that can be an indication. Okay, if you resist, I mean, I know you have to be in the class, that's the reason you resist it, but also pay attention to why it is showing up. Okay, I mean, your mind is getting peaceful, that's the reason you're feeling sleepy. Is your mind always restless? So your mind is definitely tired with wandering all the time and running, all the time. Okay, Jasmine has said in the last one, I noticed a very mild ache pain in my back near my shoulder to make me think about how I carry my bag or just one side. Then I had to shift my attention to other parts of my body and trying to loosen up my muscles as much as possible. Yes, I think a lot of pain or sensations in your body would surface if we do this, which you might not even notice it in other days. So, right, okay. Now let's come into assignment and towards the end of the class, of course. Uh, Reflect on a recent situation, and this I'm talking about one situation, okay? And you can take time with this. It doesn't have to be today only, okay? Reflect on a recent situation that was or is challenging for you in some way. Describe what makes it challenging for you and your current strategies for dealing with it. Consider what might shift if you brought any of the seven attitudinal foundations. And by attitudinal foundations, I mean the qualities of mindfulness that we discussed in the first class to help you face your situation. Notice how your body and mind feel when these attitudes are present. Compare this to how you feel when they are not. So you can take up some situation which happened and which was challenging for you, right? And think about it, and then think about that if you would have, you know, put those qualities, or if you had those qualities, the way that you were thinking, if it was there when you dealt with the situation, how would it change the outcome? Okay, how would your body and mind feel about it, and also compare to how you feel when those qualities are not there. Okay, so quite a simple, but it's a bit interesting one assignment today. Not any informal mindfulness technique, right? But trying to maybe incorporate those attitudinal or those things in our everyday life. Okay, so that's it for today. You can definitely, if you have any questions, you can drop in the text box in the WhatsApp. Okay, so that maybe your question is someone else's question as well, and it will get cleared off. Right? If you have any questions about the assignment, also I will send you all the three PPTs from the last two classes and this one as well, so that you know what are the qualities that we discussed before. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so yes, a reminder for you that tomorrow we'll have our class. Okay, you will have the last class with me. We will make it a bit more discussion and very much activity oriented. Okay, so because since the theory part is not much there anymore, so we'll do those things. We will meet at 10 to 11 tomorrow morning. Okay, so that would be the class for tomorrow. Thank you, Rohan. Thank you everyone for attending and talking and interacting. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Lots of love. Bye.
Thank you, mom. Bye, mom.
Thank you. Bye.